Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, so welcome to Holy Hour. So now I'm going to call this Holy Hour. It is that half an hour out of your day where we will just sit and think about something that's holy. So if every day we can have a holy hour, how wonderful would that be? So we are in the meaning of Trambakam Yajamahe. Before we move forward, I will just answer a few questions that came up. One question that came up is, can this mantra be chanted any time of the day? Yes. So unlike Gayatri Mantra, which has specific times of the day, Maha Mrtyunjaya Mantra, it can be chanted anytime. Okay. Question number 2 is, Bhagavan Shiva's third eye is the eye of wisdom, but doesn't it also denote destruction? Yes, because wisdom is nothing but the destruction of ignorance. So the third eye denotes wisdom because wisdom means that ajnana or avidya is finally destroyed, is removed. And we see this very beautifully in the symbolism of that Kamadeva story. That when, all the gods wanted, all the devatas, I should say, wanted Bhagavan Shiva to marry Parvati Mata because Kartikeya needed to be born to defeat one Asura. But Lord Shiva was deep in tapas. He refused to yield. And so they sent this Kamadeva, who modern day we call like Cupid. But this Kamadeva, the Devata of desire, to Lord Shiva to actually try and tempt Lord Shiva with his arrows of desire. And when Lord Shiva opened his, he was deep in tapas, and when that Kamadeva was tempting him, his third eye opened and he burnt that Kamadeva to ashes. Because desire is nothing but a signature of discontent. And discontentment means I don't know who I am. Therefore, I want all of these things to fill me up. And so that desire is an effect of ignorance. So, destruction of desire, destruction of ignorance, that is what we call wisdom. And so that's how both are related. Okay? So now we go into the mantra. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. So first we saw Om, which means it's everything, it is everything is God. Everything we see, we think, we feel, that is the sadhana of Om. And eventually we end into that silence or the Sathya. But because we're not able to understand this Om, it's expressed in so many mantras, in so many other ways. It's expounded, like a commentary. So you can say all the other mantras are just an expansion of Om. Everything is actually an expansion of Om. So therefore, we have this Maha Mrtyunjaya Mantra. And this is dedicated to Trambakam. So we saw yesterday the three eyes of Lord Shiva, what they mean. The eye of justice, the eye of compassion, and the eye of wisdom. And to gain Lord Shiva's compassion, to gain Lord Shiva's grace, what do? Yajamahe. We worship Lord Shiva. Now, this word Yajamahe is so power packed that The beautiful thing about being a Hindu, being in Sanatana Dharma, is we have so many ways to worship. There's so many incredible ways to worship. So today we will see 4 ways to worship. Hmm? And there's many more, but we will focus on 4. And this is taken from Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. First, Bhagavan Krishna says, try this. You know, Bhagavan Krishna, he starts from the highest standpoint. So he says, Mayeva mana adatsva, means first contemplate on me. Contemplation is one of the ways to worship is contemplation. Contemplation means completely immersing yourself in me, immersing your being with my being. Mai buddhim niveshaya means your mind, your intellect enter into me and just penetrate into me, lose yourself in me in this act of contemplation. And this act of contemplation means we are sitting, exclusively. We have our daily time where we sit exclusively with Bhagavan, whether with form or formless. But in this case, we're contemplating on form, and lose yourself in me. And so some of us might find that so difficult because we can't really sit down and we can't contemplate on God. What do? He says, don't worry. If you cannot do that, concentrate on me. So he says, if you cannot contemplate on me, concentrate on me. And so therefore we pick up on the sadhanas of japa, where we hold on to a mantra, hold on to an Ishta Devata. And with every chant, with every name, we try to concentrate on God. And concentrate on me doesn't only mean that when we are doing japa, it means every single act that we do is full of concentration. Because after all, everything is God, isn't it? But many times we lack this focus. We lack this ability to concentrate fully. So Bhagavan says, if you cannot contemplate on me, concentrate on me. But if you cannot concentrate on me, don't worry, then channel everything to me. So it's 4 C's. Channel everything to me, which means you dedicate everything to me. Whatever you're doing, you dedicate it to me. Now, what does this mean? It means a couple of things. One is that imagine if God lived in your body. Just imagine that God actually took root in your body. How would we treat that body? How would we eat? How would we sleep? How would we bathe? How would we do anything if God lived here? It would be very different, isn't it? We would see this body as a temple, as a shrine. This is the shrine where Bhagavan himself or Bhagavati herself sits. If Bhagavan were to sit or Bhagavati were to sit in our minds, how would we treat our minds? What would we expose our minds to? In what would we let our minds wander? What if Bhagavan or Bhagavati lived in our intellect? What would we study? What would we inquire into? What would we dig deeper into? So this idea of channeling everything to me, from one aspect, it means imagine if God lived in you and in me. How would we be? And when we do that, actually, eventually God will live in us because we become so pure. The second step is of this channeling unto Bhagavan. What if God lived in others too? So when I am doing something, I am doing it for God. So everybody here is God. When I am saying something, I am saying it to God. When I am thinking of something, I am thinking for God. So that is another aspect of channeling, where everything we do, our action takes a whole new level. It takes a whole new sense of perfection because we're seeing that we're doing it for that God in front of us. So it's not a haphazard mess. It's not done partially. It's not done in a hurry. It's not done in a rush. It's done keeping in mind that the one who I'm serving, who is in front of me, is God. That means channeling unto God. And that's not very easy. And the best part is, it starts at home. It starts in the hardest place, and the hardest place is at home. Sometimes it's easy to channel, dedicate our actions when it's other people. So easy because we don't live with them. So it's very easy to be nice to them. But channelizing our actions starts at our very own house, with our very own family. If we can do that, then we can do wonders. Sanatana Dharma says perfection starts at home, purification starts at home. And that's why it's called Grahastha. It is that place where we are all at home, staying at home. We learn to purify. Somebody might say, look, Bhagavan, Lord Shiva, I cannot contemplate on you. And I definitely cannot concentrate on you. It's way too hard for me. And this channeling thing, that's difficult. You don't know who I live with. It's hard. So Lord Shiva says, that's okay. The next step is to be content with Bhagavan. Be content with Bhagavan means accept whatever is given to us as prasad. Whatever the results of our karma is, whatever it may be, accept it and know that it is prasad. Whatever you and I are getting, we are meant to get and be grateful for it because it's there to make us grow. Contentment doesn't mean that, okay, I will just be content with who I am and what I am. Contentment has a very specific meaning. It says, be content with what we receive, but not content with what we can give. So whenever there's a sense of giving, we can always expand, we can always grow, we can always do more. When we put all of this together, this is called Yajamahe. This is how we can worship God. So imagine, actually, our life can be a prayer. If we spend some time contemplating, spend some time concentrating, spend or do our actions channeling, and with that attitude of just contentment, our whole lives can be a prayer. And when our whole lives are a prayer, that is called Yajamahe. Then that grace will come and flow. Okay? This is what we mean by that word.